happening right now. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Jizert. I am completely 100% bald. And today I'll be dropping some bald knowledge on you folks. Because sometimes you just need a little bit of philosophy. So, I want to start out by talking a little bit about humans. Humans are really weird, you know? Something I've always noticed about humans is, oh, thank you for the light. Something about humans is that there's so many of them, right? Most estimates suggest that there's about 8 billion people, plus or minus 1%. But 1% of a billion is a lot. 1% of a billion, that's like, you know, a lot of people. What is that, Yalen?
80 million, bro.
80 million. 80 million people, 1% of 8 billion. That's like 3 Finlands. We could be missing just like 3 Finlands and we would have no idea.
Yo, that's like 20 Finlands.
That's like 20 Finlands, exactly. But the difference is between, if we were missing 20 Finlands and missing plus or minus, 1%, is that those people are like scattered around. You know, if we're missing 20 Finlands, like 20 countries individually, that'd be pretty crazy. But we're not missing 20 countries individually, we're missing a bunch of people in all the different countries all around the world. Although, I would reason to believe that most of the people we're missing are in the global south, because those people don't have good documentation, or just maybe in like rural areas. Like, what if there's an area in the world where they don't have computers? That'd be really sad, because then they can't do any computing. That's what happened in the Matrix. In the Matrix, the computers were controlling the world, and then, he could either take the blue pill or the red pill, but he took the red pill, and so he knew what was happening. And so, let me give you a hypothetical situation. Let's say you're in a room with a computer, and, the computer, it gives you some symbols, and it gives you a book, and you have to translate the symbols into English. So you translate the symbols into English, and you give the symbols to you give the English to the computer, and then the computer gives you more symbols to translate. But the computer has no hands. The computer has no feet. The computer has nothing. It has no physical representation. It's just an abstract concept. But the computer is making you do labor. Don't let the computer control you.
I have no mouth and I must scream.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been trying to say these past 3 years. With AI and everything. AI 2027, right? Don't be a slave to the computer. The point of technology...
Wait, do you know that?
What?
AI 2027.
I know everything. I'm literally the guy.
What do you think of it?
What do I think about AI 2027? I think if you want my honest answer, it's been pretty accurate so far. I think that... Are you zooming in on me?
No. I'm trying to see who's
There's one guy
watching.
listening to you right now.
There's one guy listening to me. Cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello? Ow.
Hey.
Bro, stop that.
Hello. I'm bald. Okay, back to business.
They stopped watching.
No, don't call out the lurkers, man. Do not call out the lurkers.
Who's John Thomas Canton?
John Thomas Canton is my friend from school. Who is it?
Hey, John.
Hey, Johnny.
Show me.
What did he say?
Kiss
Hello.
him, whatever that means.
Yeah, it's because it's slang for autism. It's slang.
Oh.
So anyways, every time I get out my calc, which is slang for calculator, I'm always doing my linear algebra homework. But back to business. You asked, what do I think about AI 2027? Well, if you want my honest answer, it's that...
Do you think there's going to be an...
AI is going to get harder to predict what's actually happening because the effects will sort of like compound. And so... at that point, it's really hard to imagine what a society is like when the effects have compounded to like a certain point.
Bro, your friend is asking why your head is structured like
John,
that.
chill out, bro.
Yo, John, chill out, bro, John.
Chill out.
Thomas.
Wait.
Chill out,
Do you
John.
think there's going to be an AI apocalypse?
I think that at the minimum, like, we're not going to have many skills needed.
Two people watching.
Two people.
No, stop calling out the lurkers.
Okay.
If you call out the viewer count, then some people are watching in the background. And then they'll get, like, afraid and they'll get too conscious and they'll leave.
Don't be afraid, I love you.
Yes. Been saying this. But, no, I think that, like, at the minimum, we're not going to need a lot of the skills we have. I think that, honestly, most of the, like, fame is going to be in, like, entertainment and, in having like speakers and artists, and not artists in the traditional sense of painting. I think that a lot of that, like in terms of money, won't exist anymore. But I think that we will have like a surgeon, like people like Alex O'Connor and Alan Watts historically, and just people who speak like in the way that I'm speaking, but about more intelligently about various things.
I can do lighting. Stop.
People, right now we have this issue. On my blog, I wrote about it at mikeazarin.com, where the children yearn for acid, and what I mean is that right now our institutions are spiritually bankrupt. We, previously, like even in like the 1960s, right, there were bowling leagues, right, there's church, there's all these things, but now the attendance to these institutions has significantly declined. And so, if you read the book Bowling Alone by Robert Putnam, he talks about this and how we're losing our sense of community, and that a lot of times we derive our meaning from our communities, from our nations and stuff. But now, we know that nationalism leads to a lot of bad things, so it's kind of frowned upon now a bit. Which, that for better or for worse, it's true. Nationalism does lead to some poor, in a lot of cases, issues, but at least it gives people a sense of meaning. Obviously, not advocating for it, but just pointing out a fact. Now, there are other ways, more healthy ways, to get a sense of community, like bowling leagues, like that sort of thing. But those have, like I said, declined in following. So what do we do, right? What do we do when all of Gen Z is, as I like to say, spiritually bankrupt? I mean, they have no like foundation or like scaffolding for meaning.
Keep talking.
So, what do you even do? I would say, give them LSD or something. It's a really huge problem we have here. But that's what I mean when I say the children yearn for acid. Acid is just a metaphor for meaning and purpose. But anyways, I digress. What was the question?
Someone asked, give them PTSD?
No, I don't, not necessarily. Let's not give them like the full, that is, on a separate point, trauma, so most people don't need to, figure themselves out. They don't need to examine themselves. And that's because, we tend to take the path of least resistance. So, for example, right, if I have no trauma, no significant trauma that has affected my identity in a way that is fundamental, right, then I'm going to have no reason to really investigate myself or to determine why I do the things I do, generally speaking, right? So a lot of people, they just kind of take this packaged route to meaning. They, they get a degree, they get a job, they get married, they have kids, they settle down, and that's it. But they never really stop to consider, is this the best route for me? Is this what I really want to do? And Aristotle said the unexamined, I think it was Aristotle, said maybe it was Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living. And it's true. If you're not, I guess we have to define what we mean by worth living. Because if you define worth living as bringing you the most happiness, then examining your life will not necessarily do that in the short term. But also, happiness is not necessarily a good measure for a good life, right? So for example, a meth addict might be really happy when they are, on meth, but I wouldn't describe most meth addicts as particularly happy people. So maybe it's something more structural. It's something more your foundations are strong, right? This sort of in-between moments, right? You don't need to distract yourself with work, with other things, because you could just be by yourself. You can just learn to be. And Gen Z can't do that. They are, and neither can boomers, neither can most people. Most people, I think, are incapable, or not incapable, but never really just sit down and exist. In women especially, you have this tendency, what's up, Carlos? Is that Carlos? I can't tell.
Yeah, that's Carlos.
Okay.
No, it's not.
I'm dropping some bulb knowledge.
It's not.
Huh?
It is not.
It is what?
It's not Carlos.
I said Carlos.
Yeah.
Who are you now?
Norman.
Yo, please be seated.
Please take a seat, young man.
Dude, why are you so?
What?
We are on live right now. Please, can
Yo,
you
why are
stop
you so-
interrupting? Can you
Why
stop
are you
and
so
Sit down.
unique?
Take a seat, young man.
Why are you so unique?
Why am I so
Bro, my
unique?
shit is there.
This is a good question.
Fuck
I think.
Why
I
are you
think
so
it's a
unique?
mix of trauma. and
Sit
what I-
there.
Yeah,
Just sit
Sit
down, bro.
I want a
Take a
fucking
seat.
seat.
No!
No.
Yo, I want to sit here.
Yo, just sit there.
No, I want to sit with you.
What did
God,
Leo
bro.
the Lion write?
He wrote, give them PTSD. His head is majestic. You got
That's 'cause
that
I'm
comment.
bald.
Yeah.
Omare,
Hello.
Jailine.
Yo, get this guy out of here.
Yo, Carlos, bro. Listen, listen.
We
to
have a
the TED Talk.
disruptor. We are very sorry for the inconvenience.
Yo, we're very sorry.
Elite bald knowledge continues.
Okay, so he asked, why am I so unique? I have a good answer to that, and it's tied into what I'm talking about. If you have some trauma, if you have some, reason to examine yourself, then you likely will. I'll give you an example. I knew this person, and she kind of, her personality, she's very much a people pleaser.
Yo, hold this for a sec.
Okay.
Where did she get this shit?
And she had to kind of figure herself out after getting out of a relationship that controlled her
he
life.
got
That's a
this
very
shit?
common experience. A lot of times you need a certain amount of grief, or a certain amount of friction, or a certain amount of whatever, just to be able to
Yo, Micah appreciates the compliments you guys are putting.
What did he say?
His head is majestic. No, seriously, it's great.
I appreciate that.
Bob the
I'm
Builder.
the bald guy.
Bob the
Um,
Builder.
But you need a certain amount of trauma to soul seek, or generally speaking. Some people just get into philosophy and they end up being really cool people. What's up?
Can I ask what's your trauma?
What?
What was your trauma?
Oh yeah, sure. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, so I was just alone a lot. I had some friends, but I had this really deep desire to connect with people, even when I was in like a little kid, right? And I think people my age couldn't really bring that. But that's very generally what happened. But I digress. Hey guys.
Hey, can we join?
Rep.
Sure. Feel free. It's going live on YouTube. I'm dropping some bald knowledge.
And
There's 8 people watching on YouTube.
It's in YouTube. I thought it
We're
was
at Harvard University, by the way.
Yeah, keep the ID.
Ooh.
Okay.
Before and after.
Can I take notes?
Sure, if you would like.
Yeah, I brought my whole backpack just for this, bro.
Okay.
All right,
Yo,
cool.
it's YouTube.
11 people on. Let's not waste people's
Let
time.
me
Let's
check.
go.
Let's chill with the dilly dallying.
Exactly.
I
Oh,
digress.
Micah Zarin.
Mike is Aaron, famous rapper, future rapper / mathematician, here to drop some elite bald knowledge. And what we were talking about before is how, I think it was Socrates or Aristotle. I'm gonna say this one last time, really quickly. We said initially this video was actually
Yo, Carlos, bro, get the hell out of here, bro.
Yo,
No dilly dallying.
no more phones, bro.
Yo, chill, bro.
Keep it down, young man.
Dude, he's
13 people watching. Let's not waste people's time.
Yeah, let's deal with the time wasting. Okay, you need a certain amount of trauma to soul seek generally, but some people just get into philosophy for the sake of it. But I guess we should ask ourselves, is it even worth it to examine yourself, right? Is it worth it to really dig down and figure out who you are? I think so. Because if you're not creating your own philosophy, if you're not determining who you are, then somebody else has determined that for you. And those people might not necessarily have your best interest in mind, right? Would you, Carlos,
What about?
or Omar, better question for Omar, I guess.
Okay.
Do you like philosophy? Do you like sitting and thinking about abstract things?
No.
Okay, why?
I just see there's no point in it.
Okay, so you're like a pragmatist.
I don't know what they mean.
In that case, your philosophy is that we should do things with the end goal of improving ourselves.
Yeah.
And you think that philosophy or sitting down and thinking about abstract ideas is not the way to achieve that.
Yeah.
So in that case, what do you think is the optimal way to find meaning? Or in this case, become a better version of yourself? How could you, I guess, improve yourself without knowing who you are in the first place, right? I would say that, the way I see it, is that to be able to improve yourself, you need some knowledge of what's going on, what habits you have, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when we talk about philosophy, I think to a layman, or I guess in some sense I am a layman.
Society.com.
Like,
Amazon.com.
we think of like people like thinking about their legacy or like these abstract ideas, but no, generally we're trying to most philosophy, most ideas about legacy, most ideas about virtue, about ethics, come from thinking about yourself. For example, the other day, I mean, my personal philosophy. What's up?
No, sorry, I was calling my friend. I wanted to join the.
Okay. Hey, friend, come join us. Hey,
Society.
white shirt. You,
Indian.
Indian man,
Aladdin.
Aladdin. Come join us.
Yo,
This your friend.
join.
He told me to call you. Is your name Aladdin, or is he being racist?
I did not say that.
Yo, you the tennis guy?
Bro,
Tennis!
it's a-
Tennis
Yo.
guy!
We're having a conversation here.
Tennis guy.
We got a professor.
He plays tennis, right?
Yeah.
Tennis!
We have
Korea.
9 people live on YouTube.
I was for reference when I said that I was telling him I was copying what he was saying so that
See, wh-
Who is he?
I'm not racism. Don't do it. It's bad.
Exactly.
Yes, he's a Harvard professor.
Yeah, like,
Nah, I'm just a guy.
since what time you're here?
All right. So
Like
far,
10
do you
minutes,
have
15
any
minutes.
questions about what has been stated thus far? Yalin has a question.
Do you consider yourself to be in a certain philosophical class like
So personally, I don't. I think in a lot of cases, okay, I'll give you one like philosophy that I subscribe to. I find that putting myself or putting anybody into a specific like ideology, like I'm a nihilist, I'm an absurdist, I'm this, I'm that. You tend to like, or like even like with politics, right? If I say like, oh, I'm like a Democrat, I'm a Republican, like you tend to have this issue where you'll follow all the beliefs of that like ideology before you even know them. Like maybe like somebody might tend to like lean right, for example. And normally, if they were to think about it, they'd be pro-trans rights. But because they're conservative and conservatives tend to be anti-trans rights, they sort of default to the conservative position instead of thinking about it critically. And so, I think that, like, I'll give you an example of something that I subscribe to vaguely, which is ethical emotivism. So, personally, I don't believe in God. But if you don't believe in God, then-
Allahu Akbar.
what?
I believe in God.
You believe in God? We could talk about that if you would so like. But first let me make this one point, which is that if there is no God, then how can you make ethical statements? So how can you make a statement like murder is wrong?
Is murder right?
What?
Is murder right?
Nah, murder's left.
I think
For the sake of society.
We got
the
a
sake
real
of society.
discussion on our hands.
Yeah, I have a question for you. Philosophical
Can you
question.
do a twirl?
Okay.
Philosophical question.
Huh?
What is your purpose?
What is my purpose? Well, I don't think I have an inherent purpose, but I think that I can my purpose is what I don't think meaning is something like sitting there like a hut in the woods waiting to be found.
Just keep talking.
But I think that it's something that I could you can kind of construct. You have to find and by find I mean build your own meaning. I find meaning in thinking a lot, as you can tell, I think. I find meaning in teaching and helping people, like mentoring like people, giving them advice. I find meaning in a lot of things. But as for purpose, I guess I'm still figuring out. I don't think purpose is something that can be found. It's something that you just kind of build over time. It's like a state of becoming, right? You never really, unless like let's say like you make your purpose like winning an Olympic gold medal. But then you talk to a lot of people who win Olympic gold medals and they're often really depressed. Because it's like they spent their whole life working toward this goal of like winning the Olympic gold medal. And it's like, now what?
What if I want to do another?
I guess, and some people do that. But often it's like, not always, but often it's like the goal is just getting the Olympic gold medal.
For the sake of that.
For the sake of that,
Yeah, for
right?
example, the Nobel laureates, I like 2 weeks ago, I went to the MIT and I saw a Nobel laureate who won the Nobel Prize in Physics.
Oh, okay.
And everybody was like, oh, he won the Nobel Prize in Physics and stuff. And everybody was questioning how can I win the Nobel Prize and stuff in, I don't know, economics. And he said, well, if you want to win the Nobel Prize, you just need to be very passionate about something. the Nobel Prize just comes with it.
Yeah.
It's
So-
not. I didn't win the Nobel Prize because I wanted to win it. I was doing a discovery, and my discovery went good, so I won the Nobel Prize. And I didn't in every moment. I didn't wanted to win the Nobel Prize. He told me something like that.
Yeah, and I mean to my point, to your point, you know, if you were to make your goal winning the Nobel Prize, then once you reach that goal, most people don't win 2 Nobel Prizes. So once you reach that goal, it's like, you know, it's lonely at the top. You know, a lot of times we see like billionaires or, you know, people and positions of, one second, positions of immense power being very lonely and depressed because they spend all this time accumulating money or working to the Nobel Prize or working to the Olympic gold medal. And then they reach it and it's like, you know, like I said, now what? So I really think meaning optimally should not be like something where it's like I reach this goal and then that's it, that's my meaning. No, it's something that you're constantly, it's a doing. It's not like it's an action. For example, you could find meaning in doing math. You could find meaning in teaching. You could find meaning in some action. I think that's the way to go about it optimally. Sorry, what was your question?
There's a lot of viewer questions. I'm gonna start asking some of them.
Okay, sure.
Micah, what do you think of human suffering in the context of technological advancement? For example, one could say that the World War II was necessary for the creation of the internet.
Could you speak a bit louder?
Okay, so the question was, what do I think about suffering or
Human suffering.
For the human suffering for the purpose of technological advancement. So, for example, you can argue that World War II indirectly led to the development of like the internet, right? Which ultimately, arguably, is a good in our society and has helped a lot of people. So the question is, I guess, was World War II worth it to get the internet? Now, admittedly, this is a difficult question to answer because we don't know what would happen if World War II never happened, right? We don't necessarily, like, it could very much be that the internet was a cause of World War II, but it could also be that the internet would have happened regardless of World War II happening or not. Personally, I don't necessarily believe, or I am not convinced that causality exists. What I mean is, right, I'm not convinced that, like, things there's two, I guess, ways to think about, like, events, right? You can think of it as, like, A happens, then B happens, then C happens, then D happens, in chronological order, or you can think of it as A causes B, causes C, causes D. Now, I don't know, but I'm not necessarily convinced that our belief in causality, like one event causing another, is not just a result of evolution. For example, in my blog, mikeazarin.com, which you should all read, I have this post called Purple and Determinism, about this alternate reality where seeing the color purple temporarily disables the parts of your brain for the duration of the stimuli that processes causality, so something causing another thing. And obviously we don't have that. We don't have, like, seeing purple. So, like, for example, if I saw a purple baseball, I wouldn't understand that it fell because of gravity. It would just fall like that's the state of the universe at the moment. And we don't have that, obviously. We don't have, like, seeing purple breaking down our sense of, like, cause and effect. But we do have drugs, we have trauma, we have anxiety, we have other things that really do mess with our sense of cause and effect. And I have no right to say that, you know, my baseline of understanding cause and effect is any more right than me when I'm having a panic attack or something like that. Sorry, one last comment on this. So it really just comes down to, and something that I do need to think about a little bit more, is there a cause and effect or is there not?
There's another viewer question. Do you play Fortnite? If so, where you drop in?
Yeah, so, you know, unfortunately, Tilted Towers, I played Fortnite, like, the OG Fortnite, like, Chapter 1, which was peak, by the way. Yeah, once they started adding, like, fucking, like, no, scratch that. Once they started adding, like, after, like, Season 5, I kind of got bored. And once they started adding, like, chapters, I just stopped. Because, like, what do you mean Chapter 2? That's just, like, a marketing scheme. And I got really pissed off. I also don't like microtransactions in games, so I like the fact that there weren't, like, there were just skins, and that didn't provide you any, like in-game advantage. But
Also,
you know, everything went downhill. What's up?
Also, there's another question saying, what is thinking?
What is thinking?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't thought about it that much. But I would have to think about it, ironically. Does anybody have any opinions on what thinking is? Carlos.
Well, I think it's a very for me, thinking, it's, I'm determinist.
Look here.
So, thinking is just the illusion. It creates the trillions and billions of synapses in your brain, causing these chemical reactions that makes you the illusion that you're thinking when you're processing stuff, like a computer that has biological brains.
Yeah, I think also, and on that point, I think biologically, I take the view that thinking is whatever is being broadcasted, like, overall to your brain, right? So, like, you could have some part of your brain doing one thing, another part of your brain doing another thing, but sometimes you'll have something get broadcasted to the whole brain, so we know, like, okay, I'm moving my right arm now, or, and the visual cortex knows, like, my arm is over here now.
There's another question. What is feeling?
Oh, I know who this is.
Who?
My friend Dennis. We were having a conversation.
It is.
Before. I think feeling is experiencing. So we have some sense of, like, interiority, right? We have a sense of, like, what it feels like to be me. And I reasonably, I assume there is some sense of, like, what it's like to be Carlos or what it's like to be Omar. Whatever, depending on what the stimuli is. That's a really broad view. And then you can think of something like pain. And our current view in neuroscience is that pain is not something that actually happens, like, it's not a physical sensation, it's something generated by the brain. So you can have pain when there is no, like, stimuli in response to damage or the potential to damage some, like, tissue. So, that's what my take is. I'm dropping some bald knowledge.
As your hair.
Knowledge.
Knowledge?
Listen, come here.
Get knowledge.
Pull up.
Come.
Do you think?
Yes.
Do you think
Lady.
life would be better?
Yo, our mic is.
We don't have enough seats.
Dude, they will have to sit on the floor.
They can sit on our laps or like they're
Whoa,
welcome.
that's riz. Do I think life would be better without pain? No.
You know the Buddha.
What's your favorite superhero? I will judge on your answer.
You know the Buddha philosophy?
Yeah, that I think obviously physical pain is necessary because you have people. So I was reading this really interesting medical paper about this woman who had this disease where she wasn't able to process pain, and then she had childbirth and she started feeling pain, and it was really weird. But I started researching this disease, and these people, they tend to have like
Whose phone is it?
a lot of like
His phone?
damage in their like mouth, because they're you're chewing stuff, and so they bite their cheek and they never really realize that there's pain. So pain is necessary in that it is like a signal for like what something bad. It's I don't think pain itself is bad. Modern society often, complicates things though, because naturally, right? If I was like a caveman, if I was like in the wild, and I stubbed my toe like by hitting it on a rock, I'll know to be more mindful. It's just data. But a lot of times, I can have emotional pain now from something that I cannot fix. Like I could feel purposeless. I could feel all these things, and that is brought on by modern society. So I don't think that pain itself is bad. I think modern society, right, in a lot of ways, dilutes our sense of pain, and that can kind of. I don't think the issue is in the pain itself. I think the issue is in society, if that makes sense. I hope you kind of get what I'm getting at. What was the viewer question on like my favorite superhero?
Yeah.
Nothing stops the A train. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if this counts, but I was gonna say like Luffy from One Piece, because I feel like he is like the anti-hero. I like anti-heroes a lot. I like Deadpool. I'm gonna say. What was the next question?
Let me see if there is.
I'm gonna answer it, but there's a lot of viewer questions that I will answer that.
I have a nice answer.
I'm gonna be real. I don't know what the point you're making is.
Wait, who said that? What was it?
Icon.
Icon. Which point was I making when he said that? Did you?
Which point were you thinking of?
Yeah, because I've made a lot of points.
I'll think of something.
Do you
'Cause
think
this is-
abortion is right?
Do I think abortion is right? I think that okay, I think it's amoral. And what I mean is, it's not like
Society diluting pain.
society diluting pain. Okay, so for example, right, anxiety. I'll answer it in one question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So like for example, anxiety. Anxiety serves a very important function in terms of like if I was a caveman, right? I should be scared if there's like a rustling in the bushes for my survival. But because we have things like maybe, childhood trauma, right? Or things that emerge, obviously childhood trauma is not emergent of modern society, but like for example, like I have all these let me think of a good example of like anxiety that is caused by the tedium of like modern life, or depression, right? Depression, often postpartum depression, like there's this hypothesis that if a mother like after giving birth, a lot of times in like survival like environments, or more like primal like situations, if she feels, or if the body determines that there's not enough resources, she'll fall into a sort of state of depression and like low metabolic activity. And that's a good thing, because then you're not using as much resources, and so more can go to the kid and the future generation. But now, postpartum depression is just a result of a lot of time a bad home environment, or you might have the things you need to survive, but maybe your emotional needs aren't met, or something like that, or it could just be genetics, and that doesn't necessarily serve any good or higher function, if that makes sense. Anxiety or that is caused by the tedium of modern life doesn't serve a function like it did when we were cavemen. Your question was, do I think abortion is right?
Yeah.
I think up to a certain point, in the same way that like, killing an ant is morally acceptable. I don't think it's right in that it's like obligatory thing, like everybody should get an abortion. But I think it's not really, it's not bad, it's not good. It's acceptable. So I guess, yeah, like right, it's fine, up to a certain point. And I think for me that point, which is somewhat arbitrary, is once you have the ability to feel pain. I think that if somebody who is pro-life generally should also be vegan. Because I think that if you take that to the conclusion of like abortion is wrong at any stage, then it should follow that because you're killing something in the view of a pro-life person that does not have consciousness, then I think generally it should follow that you should be apprehensive towards killing animals or eating animals, because that was something that was life. What are you eating?
Okay, he said. This person said it's just that's not a modern thing. Depression and childbirth have always been around. Sorry, I'm just confused. Anxiety does serve a purpose in the modern world, though maybe not a primal purpose, but even still you feel scared walking in the forest at night.
So when I say anxiety in the modern world, I don't mean modern as in like past the 1960s. I mean modern as in like past post-Mesopotamia. And when I say anxiety, right, sure, you should have anxiety walking in the forest. Sure, you should have anxiety walking home alone at night, just so you're on high alert. But when I'm talking more about the sense of like anxiety disorder. So like somebody who is in a constant state of hypervigilance due to their childhood trauma when there is no threat to be seen anymore. That's more what I'm talking about. And that's more of a result of certain like societal issues, right? A lot of times childhood trauma doesn't happen in a vacuum. A lot of times it happens as a result of like their parents' and it's kind of like a cycle.
Question.
Do you wanna let me check the questions.
That's the deepest question.
What's your question?
Deep ass question.
What is the deep ass question?
What is your take on dying?
What is my take on dying? What do you mean by that?
What is your opinion on dying? What do you think about it?
Like just any thought, or like do you have something?
Like imagine when you're dying. What do you think or something like that?
I think dying gives life meaning in a lot of ways. know,
Yeah.
we're here for a limited time. I think I'm gonna probably, that's the last thing I'll say. Because I'm sure I'm getting tired. I'm sure you're all getting tired. But the last thing I'll say is that dying is what gives life meaning. You know, if we didn't die, we could just kind of do whatever and like fuck around. But you know, we have a budget, and that kind of makes us want to do something with our time. And our time is up. So, thank you for watching.
Wow.